The Corgo line.
In the late 1960s, Portugal's narrow-gauge lines were all going strong, and there was only just a whiff of dieselisation in the form of rail cars. There were three main systems, that in the south based at Senada da Voga, the Douro Valley lines east of Porto, and the busy Porto suburban system, based at Trindade station. All were metre gauge. The Senada da Voga lines ran west to Aveiro, north to Aspino, and west to Viseu. A glorious combination of tank engines were in use, ranging from tiny 260s to 2460 compounds to 282s. All these types were in regular use on passenger trains, which were usually mixed. Runs from Régua to Chaves, with a major centre en route to Vila Real, the terminus for a number of trains, because Chaves is a long way north and the area bleak. Early afternoon at Vila Real sees three trains, one up from Régua terminating there, and two coming from and going to Chaves crossing. Each has a compound 2460 tank, the only motive power used on the branch. The first mixed, all trains run in this format, behind a spotless number E208, moves out to drop back in the centre road to clear the way for the next northbound train. It consists of 5 tarpaulin wagons and 2 green 6-wheel coaches neatly fitting into the loop. The 2 coaches, one a clerestory, are mostly wooden-seated, giving cheap travel to the local farmers and country folk. But first class is available, with its antique comfort, plush furnishings and antimacassars. Vila Real now becomes a busy station. Almost as soon as the southbound train comes to a halt, that from Régua comes in fast at the other end of the low platform. Passengers climb aboard, mail is unloaded from the red post vans, and the 2 trains are away almost simultaneously, one climbing up to Chaves, the other dropping down to the Douro Valley at Régua, which also has the workshops for this section. The southbound train drifts out of the station, the compound Mallet tank making easy work of the falling grades, but the twisting curves limit speed to a gentle trot, the power bogies swinging easily into the bends. This is very much vineyard and olive country, with terraced hills on either side of the tracks. Station stops are short, just time to load and unload passengers and vans. It's a neat and tidy operation. At Régua, life becomes more formal, and the Corgo branch train is relegated to a bay platform. This is very much a dual-gauge station, and in consequence, there are 2 station pilots, an aging 060 tank, number E54 for the meter gauge system, and an equally venerable French-built compound 460, working out its last days on the 5'6" The train from Vila Real is pulled out to release the 2460 tank. As this is running down to the disposal area around a dual-gauge turntable, the French compound drops a rake of coaches down into the Porto platform, ready for the broad-gauge connection to the big city. The coaches are sliding door, central entrance, modern suburban stock. Not the acme of comfort, but this is no fast intercity service. Until recent times, these broad-gauge trains were 100% steam operated, but today the diesels have arrived, and one of these will take the train west. It backs down slowly. To the left is one of the modern 284 tanks now used on the steam services, replacing the three classes of 460 which ran the trains for decades. The diesel moves off with a rumble and mutter. The new era on the Douro Valley line has begun. In fact, there's another diesel which has come in on a freight, sitting on an adjacent line, as we take a quick look at the modern and massive 284 tank. The 2460 tank moves onto the table, and a quick glance to the right has shown one of the old 460s still alive and working the odd train. All these roads off the turntable are multi-gauge and can be used by both meter and 5'6" gauge engines, willy-nilly. The Corgo line tank takes on coal, a laborious hand-carrying job, but labour in Portugal is cheap at present. Whilst this is going on, the 284 tank comes in with the mixed going east up the valley, which forms a connection with the evening Corgo line train being marshalled by 060 tank number E54, with a rake of open wagons to precede the coaches. At the same time, the French 460 drops extra coaches down to form the broad gauge train. The next period of activity is about to begin, for the Mallet tank is now backing into the narrow gauge bay platform, black smoke drifting lazily from her copper-capped chimney. The 284 tank moves off smartly, heading towards the Spanish border, making light of its load. It too carries its number on a brass plate fixed on each side, if one can use that term, of the chimney. The sign of the times are the electric wire warning plates carried on each of the two sand domes, for these engines are also used on the main line, which is fully electrified. As the Corgo line train moves up its twisting tracks on the journey north, it's said to reflect that soon these smart compound tanks will be ousted by diesel rail cars and diesel locos. They've served their valleys well and earned their retirement.
Um século atrás, era esta a imagem do progresso em Trás-os-Montes. À força de pá e picareta, a linha rompeu montes, encurtou distâncias, aproximou esta terra do resto do mundo. De comboio chegava o progresso, a 30 km a hora, sobre carris estreitos de 1 metro. Mas os tempos mudaram. As estradas iam chegando às aldeias perdidas entre vinhedos e penedias. As empresas de caminhonagem progrediam. Os comboios ficavam para trás. E hoje fala-se mesmo em encerrar as linhas, troços e ramais de reduzido tráfego. Por exemplo, a linha do Corgo, que liga Régua a Chaves. São 97 km que todos os dias 6 comboios como este fazem em cerca de 3 horas. Para o passageiro habitual, a viagem é uma grande tormenta. É o frio, é o baloiçar incómodo da carruagem, são os bancos de madeira. Para os turistas que por aqui passam, o comboio é como que uma preciosidade que os leva às terras do vinho do Porto, numa viagem cheia de romantismo e de beleza natural. Tal como há um século, este comboio continua a ser a única alternativa de transporte para chegar a muitas aldeias, onde a caminhonagem ainda não conseguiu entrar, por falta de estradas.
Não tenho mais nenhum meio de transporte, só tenho comboio, não tenho mais nada. Estamos a estrada a exceder há pouquinho tempo, não há carris nem há nada. Até se tirar um comboio, caso se não temos nada a medir, não temos nada, temos que buscar essas coisas. Faz muita falta o comboio e para os estudantes e tudo, para não estudar, coitados.
É por isso que passageiros e ferroviários não veem com bons olhos o encerramento da linha que seus pais e avós ajudaram a construir. Comparada às velhas máquinas a carvão, esta automotora simboliza a modernidade da linha do Corgo. Veio há 20 anos de França e está preparada para velocidades da ordem dos 70 km. Mas nenhum maquinista arrisca ultrapassar os 30, 35 km, com medo que a linha e as carruagens não aguentem maiores velocidades. Neste estado, todas as linhas de reduzido tráfego são deficitárias. De acordo com estimativas oficiais, prevê-se que durante este ano as linhas do Tâmega, Corgo, Tua e Sabor custem à CP um prejuízo superior a 600 mil contos. É perante estes números e os déficits que os caminhos de ferro vêm acumulando que a CP propõe ao Governo o encerramento de linhas, troços e ramais de reduzido tráfego. Outra hipótese a estudar será passar a sua exploração para as autarquias locais. Mas se o Governo decidir encerrar todas as linhas que o estudo da CP prevê no Norte, o caminho de ferro ficaria reduzido dos troços de Valença-Monção, Guimarães-Fafe, Laúndes-Lousada, Ternado do Vuga, Viseu e Figueira da Foz-Pampilhosa, e das linhas do Dão, do Tâmega, do Corgo, do Tua e do Sabor. No Sul, estuda-se o mesmo em relação aos ramais de Montijo, Montemor, Reguengos, Moura e em relação aos troços Águas de Moura-Pinheiro e Estremoz-Vila Viçosa. Mas será Trás-os-Montes a região mais prejudicada com o eventual encerramento ou redução de serviço das linhas de via estreita? Apesar do serviço deficitário que presta a algumas aldeias perdidas na serra, o comboio tem ainda nesta terra um significado simbólico muito forte. Quase toda a gente tem um ferroviário na família. Daí que o encerramento destas linhas possa ficar adiado por mais tempo, pois vai ser difícil que alguém queira assumir o custo público e político que a decisão comporta.
And that part of the journey is ushered in by the sight of a little old steam engine, the last of its kind at work, fussily putting together a rag-bag of very mixed rolling stock. Some of them are pretty ancient. Some of these bogey carriages they got for nothing from Germany in 1923 as war reparation debt. First World War, of course. But the engine won't come with us. Steam's for shunting, shunting only now. It'll be diesel electric to haul us up the narrow gauge to the land beyond the mountains. There's 4 trains a day go up and 4 come down this province which few Portuguese visit and only a handful of British railway enthusiasts. There's no rush. The little lines are used daily by local people at 20 miles an hour. No first class, no second really. It's all 4th class and hard wooden seats. There are little towns. You can find them on the map, but we don't want to stop there. It's a big province this, 500,000 people, and most still live in the villages. Still very strict about tickets, they'll chuck you off without one. As Manuel, the ticket collector, explained, I think the line is very necessary, indispensable. Obviously it's a bit neglected, and we do need new carriages and improvement. The people here are of very slender means, living on agriculture, They use this line for short trips. Some bus fares are now cheaper, but the narrow lines are the only means of transport to certain areas. Recently people thought it was going to be closed. That was a rumour, but they fought by all possible means. The people went to the authority. They blocked the line in 3 or 4 places by force to prevent it being closed. You can tell when you've arrived in the land beyond the mountains by many signs and one particular sound. The drivers of the diesel locomotives play a tune up here to tell the wild world they're coming round the bend, a cantata for diesel electric. Who can trust the promises of politicians? There's a saying, they only want our taxes and our sons for the army. The railway is still a lifeline up here.